English at the Goodman speaks eloquently about language and personal identity. When you can't adequately express yourself with the nuance and clarity of a native speaker, people don't know that you're actually smart, funny, and kind. Instead, they only hear your imperfect pronunciation and limited vocabulary. You may be easily assumed to be inferior, with little or nothing to offer. Whether this is 100% true or not, these are some of the fears that plague 4 adult students and their teacher studying for an English language proficiency exam in Iran in a play simply called English at the Goodman Theater in Chicago. This is Reno Lovison, executive producer at Chicago Broadcasting Network and theater reviewer for Chicago Theater and Arts, where you can read this review if you prefer not to listen. Witty, insightful, cleverly written and produced, English is a Pulitzer Prize winning play by SANAZ TOOSSI, directed by Hamid Degani, and performed brilliantly at Chicago's Goodman Theater. Here's a pre-recorded explanation of the spirit of the story as described by the director.
I'm so sorry for you. Cut whatever you want, okay? This is a play about 4 Iranian students in a classroom learning English. Throughout this story, we learn about their relationship with language and how this relationship with language can affect your identity and as who you are and who you could be. This play is so personal to me. It's my experience, what I have felt, what I have lived through. The first time I read the play, I couldn't believe how good someone can uncover something that is so personal. It helped me to know that what I've been struggling for years as someone who learned English after, just recently, I'm not alone. Characters in the play, some of them are the situation they are in. I was there in one of those English classes in Iran. Learning that language can change your life, as it did for me. When I was learning English at the beginning and for a long time, it was like a fight with English. I was so hard on myself. I was just criticizing myself all the time. But at some point I said, okay, this is me. I will have accents forever. I will make mistakes in English, probably forever. I think that was the piece. That was the critical shift moment for me. That I said, just let it go, relax, it's okay. And everything is much better. I'm so excited that I'm able to share this experience with the American audience. They would enjoy the show a lot.
That was director Hamid Degani explaining his relationship to the play, as well as some of his own experience learning English. Here's a quick overview of the action. Roya is a youngish grandmother whose son is living in Canada. He wants her to be able to speak English with her granddaughter before she can rejoin the family. Elam is a medical student whose insecurity about how people may perceive her heavy accented speech is stifling her progress. Goli, at 18, is the youngest in the class, basically taking the whole experience in stride and doing her best to achieve her dream of passing the English exam that might be her ticket to a temporary work permit or green card in America. Instructor Marjan, who had spent 9 years living in Manchester, England, fears she's losing her proficiency advantage since returning to Iran. She spends much of her time leading the class through amusing word games while insisting that students speak only English when in class and not lapse into Farsi when frustrated. Omid, the only male in the class, is the most proficient speaker, drawing ire from Elam and added attention from Marjan, who is happy to have someone to speak with. The set design by Courtney O'Neill immediately supports the voyeuristic experience, as though we're peeking through a one-way glass. The window on the back wall provides a tantalizing glimpse of the outside world. We all likely have some experience with immigrants who have learned English as a second language. Most of us have immense respect for their accomplishment and abilities. I think it's interesting to mention that I've volunteered as an ESL tutor and therefore have some first-hand knowledge of this topic. But in this case, playwright SANAZ TOOSSI takes this one step further, bringing us into the inner thinking of the members of this class. helping us to not only experience the frustrating process of learning a new language, but asking us to consider that language is not simply a matter of exchanging one word for another. There's nuance involved in communication. Your mother tongue is deeply related to your culture, personal identity, and sense of self. Feeling like you're not fully capable of expressing your deepest thoughts and emotions with utmost clarity is like navigating the world with one hand tied behind your back. Additionally, it may make some people going through the process feel like they're rejecting their culture, while others who achieve the elusive goal of total proficiency might feel a euphoric sense of accomplishment and pride at being able to straddle two worlds, indeed, two ways of thinking. I highly recommend English at the Goodman Theater, 170 North Dearborn, Chicago, through June 16, 2024. Runtime is about 1 hour and 45 minutes with no intermission. For tickets and information, visit goodmantheater.org or call the box office at 312-443-3800. By the way, there's convenient parking across the street, and of course you can find it discounted by using the Spot Hero app. We enjoyed a light pre-show dinner at the Dearborn, a stylish pub at the corner of Randolph and Dearborn. They had a happy hour menu, so I opted for the fried chicken appetizer and a happy hour priced old-fashioned cocktail. My companion had a very nice-looking burger on a pretzel bun with a Modelo dark beer, which incidentally happens to be one of my favorite bottled beers. If seeing English inspires you to consider becoming an ESL tutor, you can investigate that possibility at the Southeast Asia Center in Uptown. Being a tutor is less rigorous than being an ESL instructor, and in fact is more about providing conversational opportunities between the students' more formal classes. To learn more, visit southeastasiacenter.org. I'll provide a link on the page related to this podcast at our website, chicagobroadcastingnetwork.com. While you're there, consider subscribing to be alerted when new episodes are added, or simply subscribe to the Chicago Broadcasting Network podcast wherever you prefer to listen to podcasts. As always, if you require marketing, audio, or video assistance for your business or organization, visit renoweb.net.